I want to get into on your website. I've got it in front of me now. You're talking about pioneering open autonomy, and I want to talk about that. But I'm just before we do that, um, just some insight when you're talking about Russia, parts of Asia. Was the adoption then? How do you compare adoption of technology now to then? Was it easier then? Or is there a bigger appetite for it now? What is your sort of sense of where the industry's at? Just personally, your personal view.
Y- Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I would say that it's better now, and I've got some quite strong views on this topic. Actually, certainly my experience in Asia and China. I'll talk about that because that was really quite an eye opener for me. And it was February 2000 that I went to China for the first time, and that was 8 years of some pretty rich experiences. But the mining industry generally, I would say that up until 2016 weren't characterized as early adopters of technology. However, we had a sustained downturn between 2012 to 2016, and coming out of that, I think that a lot of the leaders in mining realize that their playbook of when prices are down, cut costs, and we'll be okay until the next upswing, because obviously the mining industry and commodity prices are very cyclical. But I think that downturn was sustained over a longer period of time, and coming out of that, I saw a new generation of leaders emerging in the industry, and certainly those new leaders were looking to change the business model. And from someone that's been on the technology side of the equation for as long as I have, that was a real breath of fresh air, because what I saw was much more of an innovative style.
Mm.
Mining companies would pilot new technologies. They were more collaborative. The models were becoming healthier in terms of the engagement with vendors. And I think that what that has led to is an explosion of software technology companies. And I'll talk about that specifically. There's a lot of engineering and other parts of the business, but that's not an area that I know enough to comment too much about. But certainly from the software side, it was really significant in terms of the change, and that's allowed us to do some things that have been pretty innovative, because you can't innovate in a silo. You do need customers that are willing to do that with you, and that's certainly been our experience, and it's been very rewarding for our customers and us over the last handful of years.
I do want to circle. I know people want to learn about it, so I want to highlight it quite quickly. The open autonomy. What is it? In a sense, is it I see it and I go, oh, this is like an open software platform, but for specific to autonomy. So I made some assumptions, but I'll let you actually walk through what that is.
Yeah, sure. So maybe the best way to explain it is, if we look at autonomy, let's call it autonomy 1.0 in mining, which was basically what the equipment OEMs were bringing to the market. So Caterpillar and Komatsu. So in an autonomy system, there are layers of technology, and the base layer is the truck itself. Then you have what we call a drive-by-wire capability, which is the next layer of technology that controls the truck, the steering, the braking, the acceleration. And then you have the onboard autonomy system that's actually delivering the autonomy, the sensors. And then at the top layer, you had the fleet management system.
Mm.
Now, if you are buying autonomy 1.0, let's call it that, you're buying all of that from one company. You're buying that from Caterpillar or Komatsu, and they certainly created a lot of value for a lot of customers, and kudos to them. And I certainly don't want to diminish what they did, and are still doing. However, there are some constraints. But if I look at what open autonomy is, open autonomy 7 years ago was a concept. And the concept was, let's understand the layers of technology, and let's look at, can we provide a capability for companies to enter the mining industry and deliver a component, one of those layers of technology. So what Wenco did was, we started to work through the ISO working groups, the mining working groups, to create ISO standards to be able to allow different layers of that technology to communicate. And that was a really important step. So effectively what open autonomy is, it is a system that allows different companies to provide different layers of technology. So what that creates is an innovative environment. And we've certainly seen that. And, that's really what we can talk about at this conference this week, because the customers we've been working with for a while have now allowed us to start to share some of the work we're doing. But effectively, that's the difference. Closed from one vendor, open, multiple vendors. And the value proposition for our customers is huge, but essentially what it gives them optionality. It gives them the choice to choose where they want to get the technology from. And what we see is a lot of companies entering the mining space, delivering very innovative solutions. So it's a pretty exciting time in this domain.